In today's video, we're going to talk about building a mining rig for after the Ethereum merge. What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about building a mining rig, but with the mindset of our goal being after the Ethereum merge as our crosshairs. So we're just a few months away from the Ethereum merge. We don't have an exact date. It could get pushed off again. Who knows? It's really up to what you're feeling like and how the development team is progressing. But we need to keep in mind that whatever we build today needs to be set up and bulletproof for after the Ethereum merge and what that landscape's really going to look like. Okay, so in this video, we're going to speculate a lot. We're going to speculate on what hardware we think is going to be good, what GPUs we're kind of putting our crosshairs on, why we're doing what we're doing, and why we're mining what we've decided to mine in today's video. So it's all speculation. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think you're going to be mining after the Ethereum merge hits? Day one, hour one, minute one. Where do you think we're going to be at? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Are we mining 𝐿-𝐷𝐿? Are we mining Flux, FIRO, Ravencoin, Ethereum Classic? Take your guess, comment down below, and let me know what your game plan is day one, minute one, and hour one. Alrighty, so enough talk. Let's build ourselves a mining rig for after the Ethereum merge. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware that we'll be using today. Alrighty, miners, so today we are building an 8 GPU mining rig, and we're building it with post Ethereum merge in mind. So let's go over some of the hardware that I have selected and dive into it. So we have a total of 8 6600s here. We have 4 of the Power Color Hellhounds. These are the ones that kind of have that teal LED in the middle of it. We then have some traditional basic these are actually the Power Color Fighters. We have 2 of those that we talked about in a previous video. And then we have 2 of the Gigabyte Eagle 6600s as well. So all of these you can see take a single 8-pin through all of these guys here. And these will do right around 28 to 29 mega hash traditionally on Ethereum. But we're talking about post-Ethereum. We're talking about when Ethereum is no longer able to be mined, if that's August or if that's afterwards. So in today's video, guys, we are going to be building this mining rig, keeping in mind the 𝐒𝐿 algorithm, and we're going to be mining FIRO. So with that in mind, I selected this server case that probably most of you guys have not seen before. You might have seen some similar style to it, but probably not this guy. So huge shout out to the team over at skmining.com. We'll go ahead and crack this sucker open and take a look at that. But they went ahead and supplied this server case for today, and I'm excited to show it off. It's got a lot of bells and whistles that some of these other cases don't have, but it's within a price range that is obtainable, especially if you're in the US. So let's get these GPUs off and let's crack this open and take a look at why I picked this mining case for FIRO. All right, so we went ahead and pulled off the top cover of this case, and let's talk about why I selected this 8 GPU mining case for our FIRO build for today. So we have to keep in mind we're after the Ethereum merge, and what options do we have? So I wanted to give FIRO some love. I really haven't spent much time on the channel talking about FIRO, and I really do think that FIRO has more price discovery available to it. But we all have to keep in mind that FIRO does go ahead and mine on that 𝐒𝐿 algorithm. So it is very hot, very warm. So what I did was, this case is really cool. And kudos to skmining.com. If you guys want to check out this case, I'll put a link down below. So check this out. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 intakes that'll be coming in the front of our case here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 exhaust out the rear side of the case. So if you guys look at a lot of the other cases out there, they traditionally have an intake side with your 240 millimeter fans, but not an exhaust side. So I wanted to pick a case that had immaculate airflow, and I have not come across any like this quite yet that have the intake side active and the exhaust side. Traditionally, the exhaust is empty. So in addition to that, we have plenty of power. This is a 250 watt single plug power supply. And that can actually be bumped up if you're on 240 volt to 3,300 watts. We aren't going to touch that with these guys here that each do 50 to 60 watts each. We're not even anywhere near that. So we'll have plenty of power that does come with this. In addition to that, we have a basic bare bone motherboard actually here. So we have a G series Intel processor. We have 8 gigs of memory. And then actually it comes with an MSATA drive as well. So that is going to go on our case here, right here in the center. And then this is actually a power cord that goes over here. So a little simple toggle switch here for our power. And now the nice thing is on the outside of the case, it does have an adjustable fan controller, which is really convenient. I did do a video not too long ago on the Polo Miner case. The downside is that this adjustable knob was actually like in the inside. This is really nice that it is on the outside. Now I did go ahead and throw some of these little wire ties in here to kind of put all of our cables together. So as you can see, the fan controller controls the exhaust and the intake. They're not on 2 different fan controllers, unfortunately. It all comes in, and take a look. Right on the back here at the bottom, we have a fan controller. And then that fan controller wires up here to the little knob that we had. And those cables run up and underneath. Now, this case does not have all the bells and whistles that like an Octominer has. The Octominers are insane. They're amazing server cases. But it does have some fun features that do actually make it stand out versus the others. And the nice thing is, I think these are right around $250 USD. And then I think it's like $100 shipping or something like that. I think it varies. But that does make it a little bit more obtainable for $750 US. So we do have 8 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nice and easy. It didn't come with our battery, so I threw one in. But this case, plain Jane, nothing too crazy to it, is going to work great for us mining FIRO. It's got fantastic intake and fantastic exhaust. So my thought pattern is, and I've mined things like with 𝐂𝐫𝐆 and like Ravencoin and stuff like that in the past, and man, the amount of heat that those things give off and the cards get so hot. So I wanted to focus on a case that really had really good airflow, especially because my goal is to put this in my crypto mining shed. Whenever that is, whenever that shed comes, I think we're about 4 weeks out still until delivery. I haven't been given a date quite yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this cross support bar here, and we're going to install our 8 GPUs into here. Now, we do need to get HIVEOS installed on our MSATA drive, so I do have this really cool adapter. And let me show this to you guys here. We're going to try to do this Red Panda mining style, single hand. Here it is. So this is a really cool adapter. I was actually talking to Hawk Crypto about this the other day. Your MSATA drive clicks in here, screws in, and then you plug this into your desktop computer and you flash Hive on it just like it is a USB drive. So these are pretty cool. I'll put a link down below to this if you guys are looking for one of these MSATA adapters. Okay, so the back side of our case here, it's kind of hard to see under here. So as I say, single port, going to give us 3,300 watts. We'll never use that. Maybe when we put some like beefier cards in this, but it's got some USB ports. It does have HDMI, which is really nice. And then of course it does have Ethernet as well. Now there are some wonky things on this case a little bit, like what is this for? And what is this hole for? Like there's these random slots that I don't know how those benefit, like an enclosed server case. Same thing on this side. Like what are these for? Like the only thing I can think about is their handles to carry the case maybe. But I'm not really too positive. The nice thing is that the metal isn't that sharp metal that you get on some of those server cases out there, which like completely cuts up your arms when you are going ahead and moving it. So enough chat. Let me go ahead and get this flashed with HIVEOS, and then we'll start installing our GPUs. So stand by. Alrighty miners, so we've gone ahead and used our USB adapter here, and we've installed HIVEOS on our MSATA drive. So I did need to go ahead and get out our iFixit kit, this little screwdriver here, to go ahead and actually unscrew and screw the little screw on here. So if you guys, while I do this and get this installed back in our rig, if you guys are completely unaware of how to install HIVEOS. Like, I don't know how to do it, especially with like an adapter or something like that. I do have a full guide. I'll put a link down below to it. It walks you through the entire process, start to finish, from a beginner's perspective. And so take a look at that. That will certainly be helpful. What I've also done in the meantime, while I was installing HIVEOS on this MSATA drive, is I got FIRO set up on a wallet. So the wallet that I am using, that wallet is the Zelcore wallet. So if you guys haven't done that before, it's real simple, real easy. You download the Zelcore program, and I'll put a link down below to Zelcore for you, and that will go ahead and get you started. So I got a wallet set up, and I'm good to go. I got HIVEOS installed on our MSATA drive, and I do have my config file, which the config file takes HIVEOS from here and attaches it to your HIVEOS account. So when this boots up, it's going to automatically show up in my HIVEOS dashboard, which makes it real simple and real easy. In the meantime as well, I did uninstall the support bar. The support bars are great for when you are putting your entire rig vertical. And we will be doing that. So we'll be reinstalling this when we're all done and set and good to go. So what are we looking at here? So we have 8 total slots for our FIRO rig that we are building here. I don't really have any rhyme or reason as to how I want to do it. I do have 4 of the hellhounds, so maybe we'll stick those together going from one side to the other. I do have a little bit of limited space here on the right hand side, right up against this guy. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start out with, these are the Power Color Fighters. They're real basic, real simple. As I said before, we did get these for $2.99. So let's go ahead and get started with installing these GPUs, and I'll see you on the other side. Alrighty, so we have all 8 of our GPUs installed. I'm already really excited about the way the airflow is designed on this case for our FIRO rig. You can see you kind of have the fan here, and then it's blowing and sucking air right through each of these aisles. So based off of some reading, it looks like that each of the PCI slots has a 65 millimeters between it. So it's going to do well with GPUs this size. Granted, these are a lot smaller. I can't imagine if you start to go with like 3080s or 3090s on kind of your gaps. That's what makes these cards so effective inside of these cases, is the fact that you're able to put airflow between everything very easily. Once you start to put your GPUs like right next to each other, butt up against each other, that's when you really start to run into some airflow issues, especially in these server cases. The way this is laid out here, this should do very, very well with how we move forward. So we have a boatload of PCI cables, guys. Look at all of these cables that do come with this 2500 watt to 3300 watt power supply. So let me get this all wired up, and we'll be ready to boot this up for the very first time. Alrighty guys, let's go ahead and jump into our mining room. I did end up putting it right up here on this rack. I was going to put it over here. I actually have everything powered off right now for recording, but between these 4 rigs, this rig, and these 2 ASIC miners, we're actually maxed out at about 5200 watts on our 30 amp 240 volt back there. So we're going to go over on this side. We have more room. We have some 6600 to 6600 XTs down here, 1060s here, and this worked perfect here. So we're on our rack. I do have it plugged in, so it does have power, but it hasn't been powered on fully yet. I can hear the power supply on. So this is one of those server cases where the power supply will be turned on, but the rig isn't powered up yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over and hit our toggle switch. Alrighty, miners, so I wanted to pause the video and kind of explain how we got back to this point. So mistakes were made, and I'm human, and I'm a crypto miner just like you guys, and we're learning as we go, especially with a case like this. So I got it set up, I powered it on, and I was like, what's going on? I'm not really getting anything. This is kind of weird. Well, I thought back to some other server cases that I've done. The motherboard needs power, and if you take a look here, we now have power in 1, power in 2, 3, 4, and then right underneath of our power supply, we have 5 and 6. So what happens is, and it makes sense actually, I started to look at some of the PCI cables that I did have. There were some of these that were a little longer, it was a little weird cuts, and it actually goes ahead. So our power comes in here, and this is what makes it riserless, and we have 6 PCI cables that actually plug into this motherboard. And they power not only the PCI slots, but also do a go ahead and power the motherboard as well. So I needed to take a step back, get these installed. There was also one needs to power I took a look, and one needs to power this guy here, which is our fan controller. So we've rewinded, and we're back to where we were here. So now my next step is I'm going to reinstall all my GPUs. I'm going to reinstall my PCI cables, and we're going to get back to reinstalling this in our mining room. Alrighty, guys, we have been back and forth on getting this up and running, but I think we got it. We're good to go. Woohoo! Downside of this, I'm going to throw this out to skmining.com. Guys, you need some instructions. There were no instructions with this, so it did take me a little while to go ahead and figure things out. So do have my little mini screen. If you guys are looking for one of these, they're awesome. USB for power, HDMI, plugs right into these rigs. They work great. So we were able to confirm we're up in HIVEOS, which is awesome. So we did name our rig Pyro based off of the fact that we are going to be mining FIRO with it. I have our fans turned all the way down with our fan controller on the lowest setting possible. And you probably can maybe see a little bit of our blue in there. You can kind of see a little bit of the gigabit there on the side. Not much to see with the case here all sealed up, but we are set up and ready to go. So let's jump over to HIVEOS. Okay, miners, we are over on the computer and taking a look at mining pool stats. I wanted to kind of figure out, okay, what pool are we going to mine to? So 2 miners, of course, is like the easy answer. Like, okay, this is where I'm going. The downside is to 2 miners is it does have 45.4% of the known hash rate. So I'm like, all right, next thing down is our solo pool. We're not going to go with that. And then we have Mint Pond, and then we have Woolly Pooley. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go with Woolly Pooley at this point. There's only 104 miners over there. The minimum payout is 0.1, and it's got 9.84 gigahash. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's support some of the other pools here. Especially, let's get on some of these other pools before Ethereum Merge hits and just all that hash rate spreads out and these get destroyed. So jumping over to our farm, we're going to go ahead and apply our flight sheet here. Wanted to show this to you guys. So we have FIRO as our coin. Our wallet is FIRO, and I labeled it as Zelcore because that's where we're at. We have our pool set to Woolly Pooley. We're using Team Red Miner. So let's go ahead and apply that to our rig. And then we're going to take a quick look at what this rig does completely stock, which I never recommend that you guys use your stock setup. I always recommend you overclock and undervolt your GPUs. But let's give this a minute and see how we make out. All right, we've been up and running for just a few minutes here, but as you guys can see, we're mining FIRO right now. Our GPUs are sitting pretty, 53, 59 degrees Celsius, not too bad, 60 getting up there. But we're at 13.5 mega hash here on FIRO. Ooh, look at some of our memories starting to go up here. Now, we have no underclocks in place. So we're at 100 watts each. So to give you guys an idea, if we went ahead and look at this, this is in the software, rough estimates, let's say 800 watts right now. So 100 watts each. So now, and look at this, we're starting to get up there. Temperature is 81 degrees. This is why you don't mine on stock settings. It's terrible, especially for these 6600s. So now I want to go ahead and get some overclock and undervolt settings in, but at least this gives us a good baseline. Alrighty guys, I'm not gonna lie, it has been 24 hours since the last recording of the snippet of that video, and the reason is I struggled for quite a few hours to nail down really good overclock and undervolt configurations for the Micron 6600s. The Hynix, believe it or not, I don't think I'll ever say it again, the Hynix memory was a breeze. That worked out really, really well. But the Micron memory was totally different. I couldn't use my Hynix configurations for Micron. It would actually crash. So I had to go ahead and nail that down. Got that tweaked, got that in a really good place. As you can see, my MVDD is significantly higher at 1145 for these, but hey, they've been running, they're stable. I just rebooted the rig right before I started this here to make sure everything was in a good spot, but we have done it. So we went from 800 watts at stock down to sub 400. So we are 50%, just over a 50% cut in our electric cost, which is phenomenal. Let's talk about after the Ethereum merge, and let's talk about building rigs for after the Ethereum merge. We need to be even more conscious when it comes down to the efficiency, when it comes down to the operating costs and electricity. I mean, the current market right now, not only in the US when it comes down to the electric rates going through the roof, in addition to that, crypto is down, so our profit margins are very skinny right now. And so thinking about what you're going to build today, you're in the summer of 2022, what mining rig are you going to build? It has to have efficiency in mind. Efficiency is critical at this point. So as you guys start to look at what rigs that you want to build here over the next few weeks or months, if you're fortunate enough to be in those places, is okay, what can I build for after the Ethereum merge? And it can't be solely reliant on Ergo. You really got to think like, okay, what other coins are we going to look at? And you're really looking at what you got: your Ergo, your Ethereum Classic. Okay, so pretty decent, but then you got Flux, a little more heat intensive, Ravencoin, FIRO that's out there. You got a lot of these coins out there that they're not going to do as well. So the 6600s, I'm a betting man here that the 6600s, regardless of performance at this point, are going to be some of the bread and butter after the Ethereum merge because of how well you could do. I mean, look at this. We're granted in the software, we're 50 watts minus, just below it, which is really, really good. And we're controlling our costs. We're controlling our expenses and our operating costs. And I think that's really going to be critical moving into the era of after the Ethereum merge. All right, so let's talk profitability. Let's talk numbers here. So right now our hash rate is at 117 mega hash. Our power is at 396. Now I'm putting our electric cost in here at 12 cents for kilowatt hours because I feel like 10 cents is a thing of the past, unfortunately. And so I'm going to say for this estimate, we're going to do it 12 cents. So if we go ahead and hit calculate, right now, here's where I want to point your attention to. Estimated rewards 2.32. Okay, so right now in June 6th of 2022, our revenue is only $3.81, and man, look at the cost for electric on this algorithm, 1.14. Oh, which only puts us down to $2.67. And now we purely need to have the mindset here of yield over profitability. If you're mining right now for profitability this minute and cashing out, I really feel bad for you. Now is not a great time to be a miner with that in mind. But if you're looking at yield, and this is where I'm coming from here, guys, we have to think of life after Ethereum when we have sunnier skies and things are looking better. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to CoinGecko and let's take a look here. So if we're looking right now, FIRO is only at $1.65, which is really rough. Still have some potential. There's still an opportunity here. But here's what I want you guys to look at. So we're at $1.65 right now. Let's look at 1 year. If FIRO went back to where it was at its all-time high this year, it still would be at $9.70. And what did we say? We said that we were yielding right now 2.32. times our 9.70. We're at 22.50 per day if we get back to FIRO's all-time high. Well, that's in the last year. You want to see something crazy? Just throwing it out there. Now, this is all speculative. Let's go out the max here and go back to 2018. The all-time high for FIRO was $139.77. So you really want to put on your tinfoil hats here. 139.77 times our 2.32. $324.26 per day. Now, granted, tinfoil hat here, guys. Like, I don't believe it's going to get back to that point. But let's say it gets to, half of that 139, or a quarter of that. Quarter. Let's say if FIRO ever returns back to a quarter of that. So, keeping this all in mind, we really need to think about the fact of what are you mining and what hardware are you setting yourself up for after the Ethereum merge. That hardware needs to be efficient, great airflow, and your GPUs really need to have low wattage. They need to be super efficient because right now, as I talked about previously, operating costs are through the roof and they're only going up when it comes down to electrical cost. In addition to that, the crypto market ceiling is coming down. So our operating cost is getting closer and closer to our crypto ceiling, and that leaves us left with a very small sliver of our profit margin. Our profit margins are so thin right now, it is unbelievable. For some of you guys, it's caused you to actually power down your rigs. For others, you're watching your expenses and your costs there because of this. So that's why for me, when I'm looking at, okay, what is something that I can get into now that is a smart move, that is smart hardware, good airflow, good wattage, it's this type of build. It's the rigs and server cases with amazing airflow that can handle Ravencoin and FIRO being mined, that our wattage is super low. It just sets us up to be in a very good place after the Ethereum merge. All right, miners, so that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for today. Huge shout out to the team over at sk-mining.com. I'll put a link down below to go ahead and check this out. This thing, now that we've nailed it down, phenomenal. And we actually only have, guys, you can see here. So we actually have this. I can turn it with my finger, turn it all the way down. The fans are all the way down. We actually had the fans only at 50%. And they're cooling these, mining FIRO no problem, keeping our GPUs in the 50s. We can crank that up and that thing roars, which I'm going to do when I go ahead and put this in my crypto mining shed over the next few weeks. Well, guys, go ahead over and give sk-mining.com some love. Huge shout outs to them for helping to support the channel. What are you guys doing? Comments down below. Does this video change your mindset at all? Does it get kind of the wheels turning on, man, if I'm going to build a mining rig over the next few months or weeks, I really need to reevaluate what I'm doing. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.